I had forgot to turn the power station on, or making some changes to the truck. It's a Bluetooth battery. And, ow! What's up, neighbor? I'll just cook them for you out here. Good cheese pull on that sucker. Look at that. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back, and we'll see you later. I guess you're paid by the hour. Welcome back. We are not camping. We're out here in the driveway again. And reason being is we are taking the truck off the road for just a little bit. Not like any long term or anything like that, but probably for the next, what's been down for the last week, working on some stuff. And there's some things that we wanted to, or when I say we, everybody always asks me that. I'm talking about Preacher and I, there's a collective, I guess, I don't know. But we are making some changes to the truck. Things that I think you guys will find interesting, and we've brought on some partners and stuff to help us with it. And so that's what I want to talk about in this video and show you what's underneath Preacher's bandana here and what we're going to do to the truck here in the near future. Our goal is to do some minor modifications over the next maybe 5 days, or wrap up some modifications, I should say, and then be ready for the Overland Expo thing that's going on here in Jay, Oklahoma. I'll put a link in the description. Preacher and I will be up there for that. I'm not sure how many days we're going to stay. At least one, maybe a couple days. I'm not sure. But I'll have a link down here. That'll be next Saturday, like I said, in Jay, Oklahoma. I'm dealing with some ever-changing lighting conditions out here. I'm trying to hang out underneath these trees because it's still hot, man. I mean, we've had a cold front come through. A cold front. I mean, it's still close to 90 degrees. With heat index, it's definitely over 90. So I'm trying to shade myself a little bit. I don't know what the hell I was doing that for, but I'm trying to shade myself because I'm soaking wet with sweat. You guys are gonna see my moob sweat here soon, I'm sure. Anyway, good Lord, let's get back to it. So I have been running our electrical system in the truck off of power stations. That's just kind of the ease, portability, price. You know, didn't have to pay to have anything wired up or try to wire anything up myself. So I've been running EBL power stations, love them, and I'm still going to be using them, but there's some issues that I had. I didn't leave the power station on all the time, right? My truck may sit out here for 24, 48 hours sometimes. Very rare, but it does happen. And so like yesterday, I was needing to pick something up from the store, but I had some other errands to run. Well, I had forgot to turn the power station on. I decided, let's just cut to the chase, folks. I got tired of the little nitpicky stuff, having to jack around with the power stations all the time. If you are running a power station and you are not filming YouTube content all the time, or you're not doing the type of stuff that I do in this truck, if you're just more of an occasional user or something like that, fine, stay with the power stations. But I decided to go with a dual battery setup. Now, I didn't want to mess with this early on because I didn't think that I had a need for it. As my needs changed, as the usage of this truck grew, I decided that, or it became apparent that a more constant battery supply was in order. So I thought about doing a dual battery setup. Didn't have one of the batteries, and as luck would have it, ready for this big reveal. Hey, Preacher, come help me with this. Come here, come help me with this. Come up here, come up here. That's it, come over here. Can you take this off? Can you get that? Can you get this? Here, hey, get that. Can you pull that off? If I didn't want you to pull it off, you would do it. You want this? You want this? Get that off of there. Get that off of there. Get it. Get it. Get it. This would be so cool if it would work. You want to get that on? I'm not smearing peanut butter on it. I'm not a fireman. Get that thing. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Hey, watch this. I'll show you. You think I'm stupid, don't you? Nothing? You want to get that off? All right, well, at least stay here for the big reveal. Voila! What happened? It was in your ear the whole time. Anyway, Redodo, Redodo. All right, get down now. Ow! Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ. All right, after that short cry, we are back. Anyway, Redodo, I think I'm saying it right, hit me up and said, hey, we would love to send you this. It's a new model of their LiFePro 4 my Vanna White, my 12.8 volt, 100 amp hour Redodo, R-E-D-O-D-O, Redodo. Anyway, they reached out and they said, hey, we would love to send you this. It's a Bluetooth battery. It's their latest they've come out with. It's actually pretty light compared to a bunch of other LiFePro4 batteries of this same size. So I said, yeah, send it on. So they provide the battery free of charge. I'm not getting paid to do a review or anything, but I thought this would make a great second battery candidate. So that's what we're going to do. We are currently waiting on some other products to come in. I've got a DC to DC charger and an inverter, miscellaneous things that I'm going to do or that I'm going to have done to this, which brings us to our next part. I reached out to our good friend over at Green Country 12 volt. You guys will remember they are the ones that wired this truck up for my pass-through charging with some receps and stuff up at the front towards the cab side of the truck, of the bed. So they do exceptional work, man. I mean, it's clean, it's nice. I don't mess with electrical. I can do a lot of stuff. It's not that I can't, it's that I'm smart enough to know my limitations. At least that's what I tell myself when I'm being lazy. When I was in high school, I tried to wire up an equalizer in my dash for a car, old junker car I had, and I wound up burning my dash up. Or I saved it before it burnt all the way up. But so after that, man, I don't mess with electrical. I just don't. And this gets into technology that I'm just not, I just don't have the frequency of application with. This is me explaining how, why I'm dumb in this area. But the guys that, my buddy over at Green Country 12 volt is a professional, does professional stuff. So we are going to take the truck over to him. He's going to do the install and the wiring on all this stuff. And I've got some crazy ideas that I want him to incorporate in here. Now we're only working with the one battery for now. And we're going to run this for a few months and see kind of how I like that. The ideas that I have down the road for the truck and where I want to be with it are going to require some more power. I will give a full breakdown on this battery and its capabilities once we get ready to do the install. And again, I'm saying I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be over there. What are you doing? Hey, man, leave my landscaping stuff alone, homie. Every time I put that there, you got to go run off with it and I got to go hunt. Anyway. I'll give you a full breakdown on this battery once we get ready to do the install. I think I just said that. I'm sitting like this and my neighbor just came home and I look like I'm doing a centerfold for Redodo batteries while they're sitting over there in their driveway looking at me. What's up, neighbor? I've got 1,250 watt hours, I think, on this. So I'm going to have a little extra juice in there. And so I'm going to be able to do some things with the lighting that maybe with that extra few hundred watts, I'm going to take and kind of put that towards some lighting issues that I want to rectify. But this will just open up the ability of me to have a lot of different heating and cooking options. Again, with consideration as to how much drain is going to put on this battery, I've got to be creative in those endeavors. And so that's going to be something interesting I think you guys might want to see as this kind of moves forward over the next few months. So we're going to be trying out different setups and just kind of plugging and playing different devices as far as, like I said, heating and cooking and different things to just kind of test out what it is that we use as truck campers and just campers in general. What I would like to have this turned into is just kind of a laboratory on wheels that we can just kind of test out different things as we just get the whim to do so. There's a lot of changes. I keep wanting to put my foot up there. There's a lot of changes in battery technology and lighting technology. And it's just stupid, crazy how fast these things evolve. And so I think that this will give me a little more freedom. Again, the power station just seemed like a stopgap measure or something for more intermittent camping. And so with this Redodo battery setup, I think it will exponentially open up the possibilities when it comes to, again, other gear and stuff like that. Now, down the road, when we double the capacity by running it'll be a dual battery setup with two batteries. I think I'm going to run 200 amp hours down the road, and then we'll really start doing some weird things with this. So it's going to be exciting, and I hope you guys go ahead and subscribe and like that stuff and tune in for all of it or not. If you want to go watch cat videos, I don't blame you. Cat videos are funny. I like dogs, so whatever. Just don't let him know. So as that project rolls forward, I will get back with you, and we'll video all that stuff, of course, and let you guys know. Stay tuned if you want to see all of that and you want to see this thing in action. Really excited about it. And again, thanks to Redodo for supplying this with really no strings attached. So really good company. I like that. All right, so with all of that rambled and said, I'm gonna go get some lunch. You know what? I think I'll just do that out here. How about that? Somebody was asking for the recipe on how to make hot water cornbread whenever I posted some stuff not long ago. So why don't I just bring the ingredients out here and I'll just cook them for you out here, and I'll show you guys how I make mine. I'm gonna make some cheese versions of it today. So let's do that, and I'll just video that, and you guys can see kind of how I make the hot water cornbread. And yeah, let's just do that, and I won't stink up the house, and the wife won't come home wanting to know because I was gonna fry it in bacon grease, which stinks the house up. Anyway, let me go get that, and let's get set up and redirect, and let's get some cooking done. That was kind of dumb. Let's do it again. That's like, I see you over there. All right. All right, guys, we're all set up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a cup of cornmeal, any cornmeal that you like. They'll tell you on recipes, fine ground, whatever, buy whatever cornmeal you want and use it. For every cup of cornmeal you're gonna need, it's really just dependent on the water, temperature, and all that, and the grain of the cornmeal, the grind. You're gonna start off with, at least a good rule of thumb is, for every cup of cornmeal, you're gonna need a cup of water. You're not gonna use all of it, but that's where we're gonna start. So that doesn't have very good measuring lines on the inside, so we're gonna go there. We're gonna get that water boiling, and then I'll show you what we're doing with this cornmeal. I think I got that lit. No, I did not. There we are. Let's get that boiling. I have to, losing my rag here. I have to tuck that beard in just a second to keep from catching on fire here. All right, so we're gonna get that started. In your container of cornmeal, let's move this camera over here so we can get a better look at it, I think. All right, so you can just use cornmeal and hot water if you want. I am going to put just about maybe a half a teaspoon of some baking powder in there. Baking powder. Let me show you there. Baking powder, not baking soda, or you will make that mistake once and once only. And I'm also going to put just a pinch of salt in here. Doesn't take a whole lot. You could put some sugar in here as well if you want a little sweeter cornbread. I'm going to take my pepper grinder from the house, and I'm going to throw a little black pepper in here. All right, just enough. Now, what you're going to do is, once this water boils, we're going to put that into, and I'm using a freezer bag. I'm doing this how I do it in the field or when I'm camping. I just put it all in a heavy duty freezer style bag, and I can dump my hot water into this. And it mixes up. I don't have to get my hands on, wash my hands 15 different times. So it just makes it easier to do it all in here. I'm going to church this up just a little bit today, and I'm going to use some Hatch green chilies in there, just a little bit. Doesn't take a whole lot. And then I'm also going to be using some bacon grease in there with this. I'm not going to put a whole bunch in here because I'm going to put some cheese in here. So just a little bit of that. And I'm going to wipe this off over here. And I'm going to put just about a tablespoon of bacon grease in here. Maybe, and this is just easier for me to travel with and all that kind of good stuff. So let's put about that much in there. All right. Normally I'd fry these in bacon grease, but I'm not going to do that today just because I don't want to waste all of it. I've got some leftover grease I used from a different fry in the house, and so we're going to actually cook this, just vegetable oil. Check this, almost ready. What you're going to do is, when you put that hot water in here, you're going to mix it up, and that hot water is actually going to cook the cornmeal. So we're going to mash that up, and we're going to kind of knead it together into a little ball, and then we're just going to let it set. And as it sets, that water, that hot water, will cook that cornbread. It's going to melt that bacon grease, incorporate all that stuff in there, and then we'll be able to proceed from there. Okay, our water is boiling. Let me get that for you here. All right, we are good to go there. Let's turn that off. This little stove has been awesome so far, guys. Really digging it, really digging it. This is my grease that we're gonna use, that I've had some leftover stuff. I keep that in the fridge at the house. All right, so we're gonna put just a little bit of this water in here. Not a whole lot, because once you put too much in, you can't take it out, right? So we're going to put that in there. We'll seal it up just a little bit. Now that's gonna be, and I may have put too much in there, dadgummit. I wasn't paying any attention. Talking to y'all about what not to do, and I think I might have done it. Maybe not. If so, if you do make it and it's a little too much, that's it, preacher hit the tripod. If it's a little too much, man, that smells so good. If it's a little too much water, just throw a little more cornmeal in there. But you wanna make it like Play-Doh consistency, and that's kind of your guide, if you will. And you can see how this is a lot easier than messing with this. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this amount in there. Maybe a little too loose, but we'll see. I wanna make it to where I can touch it. That needs a little bit more incorporation into it. And again, this is, you can do this in a bowl. You can do it in your hands if you are Superman. Don't worry about getting burnt, man. All right, so once it gets hot enough to touch, I'm gonna just do a little test here and see if it's a little too loose. Let's see if it'll set up just. All right, I think that's gonna set up just fine without having to put any additional cornmeal in it. So let's go ahead and get that started. I'm gonna set this over there. Let's like this. Whoa. Well, that's well, I just bragged on this stove and it broke. This one still works. That one does not. So I guess we'll cook off of this side. Not a big deal for now, but it's really a pain in the butt. Let's turn it on. There we go. Hell, I didn't think I was gonna get that one lit. All right, you're gonna put this oil in here. I don't really care. I like a little more oil when I'm frying mine, just because more oil makes things fry a little better. I don't need all of that. And you can do this with about a quarter inch of oil. Or you can deep fry these, whatever your flavor is there, man. So I've got a couple kinds of cheese here. I've got some pepper jack, and then I've got some Gouda. Now the Gouda is gonna melt really nicely. I don't have a knife. I don't have anything up here. Good. I never have a shortage of knives laying around, so we're gonna use a little Kershaw seatbelt cutter knife I keep up in the front. All I'm gonna do on this is just cut some small pieces to wrap up into there. I'm not gonna cut it really thick. I'm gonna cut these in half probably. Try those out. You want some cheese, buddy? You want some cheese? Can you get up here and get it? Come on, get it. There you go. I like these plain usually, but I'm gonna try this. I haven't done this before with this particular recipe, but I've made similar stuff, so I don't expect it to be all that daggum difficult. And then the rest I'll make plain. All right, so what you wanna do here is, and I'll probably cut those in half. Cut those in half because I don't make these very big. So we're gonna take a piece of this. I hope that's getting, I don't know if that gets as hot as my Coleman or not. It'll be interesting to see here. So I'm gonna take a ball of this, pretty decent size there. I just make them however I make them, however I want to make them, however size, and I probably should have put a little more cornmeal in there. But let's just kind of fold that into that. Just kind of see how I'm doing that there. You could, if you were in the house, you could firm these up a little bit in the refrigerator if you wanted to. That always helps. I'm gonna make these a little bit smaller, I think. Just because I wanna try to make enough. Now, if you get your pan hot enough when you drop these in, you shouldn't have any major problems with them falling apart, as long as your dough's, you know, pretty decent. That said, take a little bit of that out of there. That said, you want to be kind of careful when you do put them in there. How long should you wait before you start making these patties? As soon as you can, or it will be ready about the time it takes you to where you can actually get a hold of them, and they're not going to, you know, be able to form them, and they're not going to burn your hands and stuff like that. That's usually your sign that you're good to go there. Let me get some of this up here. Man, I'm sweating all in this stuff. Or not in it, that's gross. I'm just sweating. I sound like I'm over here falling into it. And let me see if I can't get 3 more out of that. That's a little crumbly there. That stuff wasn't, that lower section of that bag, I don't think got as incorporated. I'm trying to hurry this up and didn't really need it as much as I wanted to, or should have, I should say. We'll make it work though. All right, I don't know if that's hot enough yet, so let's give us a little test here and see. Yeah, we're good to go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just lay these in there kind of gently with the spatula. Yeah, that's gonna go nicely. You don't want to put them in too awful fast and cool your grease off, but these are already warm, so that's normally a concern you would have if you're frying stuff. But with these, you don't really have that big of a deal. Now, you don't want to make sure you don't let them start to stick on the bottom of that. This pan, I've talked about it before, I have yet to properly season this thing. It was one of those grab at Walmart and throw it in the back of the truck. But we'll set that up there and we'll just let those get to cooking. Hey, you want some cheese? You want some cheese? See where the mole's been tearing up my yard? All down this thing in place. There's you some cheese. That's a good boy. Now, you don't have to put that baking powder in these at all. You don't have to. The reason I put it in there was it plumps up, or kind of puffs up the cornmeal a little bit. It gives it more of a traditional cornmeal-y kind of texture to it, maybe, I guess. It makes it a little more fluffy. I really don't know how to relay what I'm trying to say there. So I thought that, since I was putting the cheese in there, a little bit more fluff would be better for that, instead of, these can be very, very dense if you don't. All right, so I'm gonna try to flip these over here. There we go. And they're coming along pretty nicely. There we go. All right, guys, those are just about done. So we're gonna go ahead and pull them bad boys off. Like frying on the back of your truck. You can smell that bacon grease in them. Man. That cheese is awesome in it. Really good. See if we can get that a good cheese pull on that sucker. Look at that. Burning the hell out of my hand. Look at all that right there, boys. That Gouda melts so great. Let's try this. Oh my God. Woo. Man, that's hot. That's on point right there. That's where it's at. Man. That baking powder really softens up the inside a little bit. Really, really good. You bite? Get some corn? Corn Dodgers? That's a good boy. Is that crispy? That sounds delicious when you eat it. Get some more? Get some more, good buddy. Woo. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna finish eating these, and I think y'all got a little gravel to put in your travel.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not